All right, so hemping bagpipe joint so that it's nice and airtight within your pipes. We've got yellow wax temp here. It's really important to use wax temp. And here we are going onto the joint of the pipes. The grooves are aligned and the hemp is parallel to the rest of the drone. So we go like that, and then our very first couple winds here are very important. We're trying to go in the grooves as much as possible. Get it nice and locked in. And just as you turn, it will kind of move itself. You'll be able to see this as I go down the joint a little bit more. But what this does is it locks the hemp into the grooves, and you're able to get a really nice tight seal. This prevents the hemp from ever sliding or spinning on the tenon. So you can see as I'm going down here, it's kind of a natural stair step. And that's our very first tail that we locked in at the first place. So very first wind down, pretty exact. And I'm pulling on this as I'm doing it. If you want to use leather gloves or something like that as a protectant on your hands, that's a very good idea. Now, we don't want to go all the way up here to the mount. No, we want to leave some space here, and that's to keep tension off of the stock so that you're less likely to have a crack there. You also don't hemp all the way to this end here, so about 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch on either end of the hemp tenon. That's going to be the best way to do it. So I've got a little cloth here, and I just put the hemp in here. Now that I've done my winds, I'm going to start winding a little bit on the faster side. And basically what you're doing when you do this is you're just trying to fill up all of the gaps where you can see the black joint coming out and in between. You only need to do a few of these before you want to start testing within the pipes. So here's the middle tenor, and this is the middle tenor stock. That is obviously very loose still. That's not gonna hold any air. But as you do this, you do want to keep testing. And as you test within the stock, what it does is compresses all the hemp together, and that way it'll lock to itself a little bit better over time. Okay, so that might hold, but still very loose. Tension on this, you want to try and keep the tension like a pretty lenient pickle jar in terms of strength. Do a couple winds and test, do a couple winds and test. So there's that. We're starting to get somewhere now. Can start to feel the resistance. Just a couple winds. And as you get closer and closer to the tension that you want to quit winding on this end. You want to start winding more on this end so that the hemp slides back. It gets pushed back to the end of the tenon. So a couple winds there at the very entry point. That way it slides back. Okay, we're really starting to get somewhere now. Maybe 1 or 2 more winds. And wind is not a precise unit of measure. It's just to kind of keep referring to the same thing. Okay, so we're starting to get there. That is not going to go anywhere. I'm going to do one more very small one, because a new joint will always compress before it expands. So a joint like that, yep. And now you just pull it. You don't have to use scissors or anything, right? And the hemp is waxed, so it will adhere to itself if you smooth it down like this. One more final test within the pipes. And it's okay if it's a little bit on the tight side. Remember, this will snug up nicely. All right. It's good. Now, that's one stock joint. Okay, this is how to hemp your tuning pin. So we've done the stock joint already. Now we're going to do this section. And it starts out the exact same way. You get that parallel there. Get it hooked around. Because there are grooves on all of your pins and all of your tenons, that's so that the hemp gets locked in nice and tight. Don't want it to start sliding. I'm pretty experienced, and I can do this in each one of these grooves and have it be pretty perfect. The amount of hemp spools that I've wasted over the years just practicing on my pipes is a little ridiculous. This time you do want to go all the way down here on this joint, because that will prevent not only this tuning slide from moving, but also this is the point where you would have any kind of leakage of air coming out if you had a leak on your pipes. Now we're going up the same way and down the same way. And more or less pretty good. We're checking here in the drone. Now while that is certainly getting there, there's no way that's going to hold air. The ultimate goal is to have this tunable with 2 fingers, but yet still have it tight enough and airtight enough that it will not move on its own. This specific bagpipe has brass-lined bores, so the bores are ridiculously smooth, but the end of the drone where it meets the bottom section has a little bit of a sharp edge, so we'll find we might have to adjust a little bit for that. Another thing to mention here is that we're keeping all of this hemp in one continuous strand. We're not breaking it until we're ready to be done with it, which at this point feels like I'm about ready. So I'm going to take this, break it, there we go. Again, the hemp is wax, so it will conform to itself. Nice and together like that. Okay, so again, tunable with 2 fingers, perfectly fine. We're going to add an extra insurance layer here, Teflon tape, and that's a widely debated substance in the piping world, but I think I really have enjoyed using it over the last 12 years. So the trick with Teflon tape is that it must be wound down in the direction that you want the drone to tune. So I operate like a screw, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. If you turn to the left, your drone goes out. If you turn to the right, your drone goes down. So left flat, right sharp, just like you would do on your tuner. So the drone is going in and turning out. The other thing about Teflon tape is that as you're putting it on, you want to stretch the tape as you're applying it. And also, whenever you're putting the drone on and taking the drone off, you have to do it in the same direction every time, because the Teflon tape has to be trained to move in that screwing motion. So this makes for a really nice motion as you're tuning. So putting this on, turning to the right, and then turning to the left to take it off again. Just going in and out, in and out, in and out. Okay, maybe one more wind of Teflon here. I think we should be good. Teflon, unlike hemp, can be broken as many times as you need to find the right seal, because it adheres to itself. Okay. Stretched as applied. There we go. On. Turn to the right to go down. Turn to the left to go out. There we have it. So see why it's coming off there at the very end is because of the sharp edge of the metal on these pipes, but it goes away after the second time you usually do that. Here we go. Down again, same direction. And out again, same direction. Okay, there we go. So again, a little bit on the tighter side just because the pipes are newly refurbished and the hemp is newly applied, so it will always compress a little bit before it expands. So there you have it, full drone.